Internet suspended in Manipur as protests by tribals turned violent. Ban on large gatherings and night curfew in several districts. The tribals protest to oppose the demand for inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribes category. A dramatic drone attack on the Kremlin dome. Russia accuses Ukraine, calls it a failed attempt to assassinate President Vladimir Putin. Ukraine denies any involvement in the drone attack. Russia's foreign minister to arrive in Goa for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet, a bilateral meet of the foreign ministers of India and China also planned amid tensions between the two. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar likely to not meet his Pakistan counterpart Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Indian origin Ajay Banga appointed as the World Bank president. Banga becomes the first person of Indian origin to head the World Bank. The ex-Mastercard CEO will begin his 5-year World Bank term on the 2nd of June. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chants Jai Bajrang Bali at his rallies in Karnataka after the Congress party promises to ban the Bajrang Dal. Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge refuses to speak on the Bajrang Dal controversy. With 1 week to go to polls, the campaign hits its final stretch in Karnataka. NCP's Supriya Sule set to become the next NCP president after Sharad Pawar's decision to resign. Senior party leader says Sharad Pawar's daughter Supriya will become the national president while his nephew Ajit Pawar will head the state unit. Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Priyanshi Sharma. Let's get you the top stories in the show. Starting with the tensions that are growing in Manipur. The Manipur government has now suspended mobile internet for the next 5 days in the state amid violent protests by tribals. Now, tribal groups took out rallies in several districts of the state to express their dissent to the persistent demands of the Meitei community for its inclusion in the scheduled tribes category. Now, along with ban on large gatherings, night curfew too has been imposed in several districts of the state. My colleague Ratnadeep Chaudhary gets us more details.
You know, this the protest rallies were actually initially peaceful. So there were protest rallies in almost all the hill districts, all the tribal dominated districts. This protest rally was called by a student body. It was called the Tribal Solidarity March. This was against the idea of inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribe category. Remember, the Meiteis who are the majority community in the state are not scheduled tribe at this moment. But then there was a recent High Court order which has allowed the state government to consider, including the Meiteis in the scheduled tribe list, which the tribal groups have been vehemently opposing. But this rally comes close on the heels of last week's flare-up in Churachandpur district, where there were cases of vandalism and arson at a venue where Chief Minister was supposed to attend. And that flare-up was largely because of allegations that the state government is trying to harass tribal people in the name of encroachment from reserve forest and forest land. Now, today what we are picking up from police sources, initially in almost all the places the rallies were peaceful, but particularly in areas which are bordering areas between the hill areas, the hill districts which are dominated by the tribals, and the Imphal Valley and its surrounding areas which are dominated by the Meiteis. There were places like Bishnupur district, some other parts where there was pitch battle between communities, and police had to resort to tear gas shelling to disperse the crowd. In fact, in Imphal West district, in Churachandpur and its adjoining Firzwal, as well as Bishnupur district, there is section 144 of the CRPC clamped, and also night curfew. What we are hearing is that there have been arson in the border town of More in Taknapal district, There have been also reports of arson from other parts of the state. So therefore, the situation is on the boil. If you look at Manipur politics, then you have 20 tribal reserve seats. So
Right.
therefore, how politically this plays out and how center also helps the state to handle this situation will be something to look forward to.
Now, moving on to the other big story, there was a dramatic drone attack at the Kremlin dome. Russia accused Ukraine, calling it Ukraine's attempt to kill Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin said that 2 drones had been used in the alleged attack on Putin's residence, but they had been disabled by electronic defenses. Putin was not injured and there was no material damage to the Kremlin building, according to Russian authorities. But Russia said it considers the alleged attack a planned terrorist act and an attempt on the life of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. It says the country now reserves the right to take countermeasures. Meanwhile, Ukraine has denied having any involvement in the attack, with the attack coming after more than 1 year of the start of the war in Ukraine raises concerns of the war escalating even further. And moving on, India will host the foreign ministers of Pakistan, Russia and China for the foreign ministers meet of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO, in Goa. Now, on the sidelines of the meet, the foreign ministers of India and China are set to have a bilateral meeting amid growing tensions between the two. But Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar is unlikely to separately meet the Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Take a look at our report from Goa.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar landing in Goa to host the foreign ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO. The meeting, to be held in Benalem in Goa, will build the ground for the crucial summit in July. A summit of the Eurasian Security Group with anti-West countries like China and Russia. This year being helmed by India just months before the G20 summit in September, where the West tries to call the shots. But amidst the larger multilateral agenda, the focus will be on one-on-one meetings that Jaishankar holds, or rather not holds. But as per sources, there is unlikely to be a structured bilateral meeting with the Pakistani counterpart Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Here's why. India had taken a stand after the Uri terror attack that terror and talks won't go together. The situation hasn't changed much, especially with the recent Poonch terror attack in which India lost 5 of its Jawans.
It is for us very difficult to engage with a neighbor who practices cross-border terrorism against us. We have always said that they have to deliver on their commitment not to encourage, sponsor and carry out cross-border terrorism. We continue to hope that one day we would reach that stage.
However, despite the Eastern Ladakh friction entering the 3rd year and India having lost 20 soldiers in Galwan clashes in June 2020, the doors of communication remain open at the foreign ministers level with China. S. Jaishankar will meet his counterpart Qing Yang on Thursday. India is once again expected to communicate that the overall bilateral relationship remains adversely impacted due to the border situation. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will also hold bilateral talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. This one-on-one conversation is very significant in the backdrop of the continued war in Ukraine and with the latest development of what Kremlin claims to be an assassination bid on Russian President Vladimir Putin. India does not only hold the chair of the SCO, but is also the president of the G20 this year, and therefore engaging with Russia on the one side and the Western countries on the other is very critical for India to be able to strike a consensus and make its presidency a success. With camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, this is Maha Siddiqui in Goa for NDTV.
And moving on, with just a week to go to the Karnataka elections on the 10th of May, the last stretch of campaigning is going on with the star campaigners. Now, one factor becoming a political flashpoint is the Bajrang Dal controversy. PM Modi chanted Jai Bajrang Bali at his rallies in Karnataka just a day after the Congress party promised to ban the organization in its manifesto, saying that it's spreading hatred. The Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge, meanwhile, refused to comment on the controversy. Take a look.
Bajrang Bali ki, Bajrang Bali ki, Bajrang Bali ki, Bajrang Bali ki.
The Prime Minister going on the offensive after the Congress manifesto on Tuesday promised a ban on the Bajrang Dal.
कांग्रेस कर्नाटका को दिल्ली में उनका जो शाही परिवार बैठा है ना, उस शाही परिवार का नंबर 1 एटीएम बनाना चाहती है।
The Bajrang Dal is a controversial group, part of the RSS BJP Sangh Parivar, and has been linked to various incidents of violence. But as the Prime Minister went on the offensive, the Congress appeared to go on the defensive, with the party chief reluctant to explain why they announced this. On the other hand, DK Shivakumar, seen as a CM contender, took on the Prime Minister, while Kharge's son, a candidate, defended the move as a proposal to ban any fringe elements.
So what was the thinking behind, including that in the manifesto, that is banning of Bajrang Dal? What was the thinking behind?
This is already Dr. Parmeshwar has clarified. He was a chairman of drafting committee of that. So he has already yesterday replied, I don't want to reply.
Agreed, you're the president, sir, but why did
No, I don't want to reply that. Once my party people have replied.
ನಾವು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರು. ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳಗೂ ಹನುಮಂತಂಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? ಹನುಮಂತನೇ ಬೇರೆ, ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳನೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಫಿಟ್. ಏನು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಹೆಸರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ. ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅವರು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನ ಮಿಸ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
We are very clear in the manifesto saying that any fringe elements will be banned. Any fringe elements. It doesn't matter whom it is backed by.
The BJP is taking the issue nationwide. In Madhya Pradesh, a senior BJP minister, Narottam Mishra, asking the Congress's state chief Kamal Nath on whether they intended to ban the Bajrang Dal in the state too. Elections are due in MP later this year. NDTV Bureau Report.
And as the Bajrang Dal controversy is growing, the Congress party seems to be taking a U-turn now on its promise to ban the Bajrang Dal. Veerappan Moily, a senior Congress party leader and former Chief Minister of Karnataka, now says that a state government can't possibly impose this ban, and the Congress doesn't have any such proposal.
ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲ PMF ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ನಾನು ಕಾನೂನು ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಜರಂಗ ದಳವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟನೆ DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾದಂತ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ that proposal is not before ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಂದೆನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇರುವ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದರ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಇಂತ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ನೋಡಿ ಹೇಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರಬಹುದು. ಆದರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್. ನಾನು ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ ಎ ಲೀಡರ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಜರಂಗ್.
And now moving on, a day after the Nationalist Congress Party chief Sharad Pawar's shocking announcement that he was stepping down from his position as the party chief, his daughter Supriya Sule seems to be headed to become the next chief of the NCP, while Sharad Pawar's nephew Ajit Pawar could be chosen as the Maharashtra head of the party, according to senior party leaders. Take a look at this report.
As a procession of NCP leaders trooped in and out of Sharad Pawar's office to convince him to continue as party chief, maneuverings on his successor appear to have begun. Speaking to NDTV, a top leader and a Pawar aide, Chhagan Bhujbal, said Supriya Sule, Pawar's daughter, should be the next chief.
Jit Dada, now he's
looking after Vidhan Sabha and Maharashtra state. So we will continue like that because state is very important.
Correct.
And since Supriya, she is a parliamentary in there, and of course she knew the working of Pawar Sahab also. So let her see the national problems.
On Tuesday, Pawar, in a concession to the protests, said he would rethink after 2 to 3 days.
But while Pawar Senior has agreed to rethink, he has not relented yet. The party insists that he stays on his current position and any change in leadership happen under him and not without him.
Praful Patel, another contender, has ruled himself out. He says no talks of a new leader until Pawar decides.
But I'm sure a lot of senior leaders across the country have expressed their maybe their concerns directly to him or to some of our colleagues. So, well, that is expected. After all, Mr. Sharad Pawar is a very senior leader of the country. He is not just the president of NCP. He has his own stature standing in the country.
Amidst protests and appeals, NCP sources say Bhushan Bagal, a party worker from Solapur, even sent a letter written in blood requesting Mr. Pawar to withdraw his resignation. Another key aide, Jitendra Awad, resigned. The Congress and the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena projecting the developments as an internal issue of the NCP.
हमारी भूमिका वेट एंड वॉच की है। पवार साहब का इस्तीफा ये देश की राजनीति में जब एक बड़ी न्यूज है या धक्का है, लेकिन ये उनके पार्टी का भी एक अंदरूनी मामला है।
Sharad Pawar has not revealed what he's going to do next, but obviously his decision will not only have an impact on Maharashtra politics but also national politics, which is why you can see NCP workers still imploring him to take back his resignation. What will Sharad Pawar do? That's the big question. With Sohit Mishra and camera person GD Shankar at the YB Chavan Center in Mumbai, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Welcome back. Indian origin Ajay Banga has been appointed as the president of the World Bank for a 5-year term beginning the 2nd of June. Now, born in Pune, the ex-MasterCard CEO Ajay Banga has become the first person of Indian origin to head the World Bank. Banga joins the list of Indian origin leaders heading global organizations. Take a look at the journey of the new World Bank president. From Pune to the World Bank headquarters in Washington, US President Joe Biden's pick, Ajay Banga, becomes the new president of the World Bank.
This comes at a moment
and will start his 5-year term beginning June 2nd. Born in Pune, Banga becomes the first person of Indian origin to head the World Bank. With an extensive career in the private sector, Banga credits his success to his army officer father.
Two things are critical to success as a leader: humility and humor. I've had some great role models who have taught me that humility, the fact that you can learn, that you can interact, that you can treat everybody with respect, with a hand on their back and not in their face, what we in our company called our decency quotient. Not just your IQ or your EQ, but your DQ.
Ajay Banga most recently served as the vice chairperson at General Atlantic. Previously, he graduated from St. Stephen's College in Delhi and then completed his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Ajay Banga taking over the top post of the World Bank was expected, as the position has always gone to a US candidate. Now the hope is that Mr. Banga's Indian origin would bring a first-hand understanding of the challenges that developing countries face in tackling poverty and climate change. But it's a challenging time to head the World Bank after the pandemic and the Ukraine war led to more economic troubles and poverty in several countries. Many say that it's the future of the World Bank that's at stake with this next appointment. Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV. Now let's focus on the same-sex marriage case that's going on in the Supreme Court. Now the centre has said that a committee will be formed to look into the genuine human concerns of the LGBTQIA plus community during the hearing on the petition seeking legal status for same-sex marriages. Now, this decision came as the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, made strong comments in the case, saying that existence of same-sex couples is not something which will be imported from some other place. He said it's as much a part of our society as anything else. Take a look at those arguments.
We have a constitution with an enforceable chapter on fundamental rights.
Yes. But fundamental rights don't operate in vacuum. They are all meant for ultimately to operate in the context of a society, given society. And that's why I'm averse, Lord, when some of us, Lord, try to cross the seas, Lord, and we try bring Obergefell here, bring, Lord, Fori here. So
no, but Mr. Dwivedi, let's be very clear. The existence of same-sex couples is not something which has been imported from some ocean-going.
No.
It's as much a part of our society as
it's part of society, and there is another aspect which is not looked at.
The argument is not that, people who are single lack dignity, or that marriage is the only source of dignity. The point is about choice.
And moving on, the United Kingdom is preparing for the grand coronation ceremony of King Charles. The coronation ceremony will take place on the 6th of May following a procession from the Buckingham Palace. Interestingly, the grand ceremony will cost a whopping 1,000 crore rupees. My colleague Parmeshwar Baba gets us more details.
The coronation of King Charles III is going to be British royalty's biggest day out. A spectacle with a parade of crowns, tiaras, uniforms, sashes, pomp, pageantry and press, watched by millions worldwide. And yet, nobody has watched one in the last 70 years. King Charles will wear a series of coronation garments previously worn by his mother, grandfather and great-grandfather in a break from the tradition of monarchs usually wearing new items for the ceremony. People watching the coronation will be invited to join a chorus of millions to swear allegiance to the king and his heirs. This plan, though, faced backlash, with many calling out an offensive, tone-deaf gesture that holds the people in contempt. Meanwhile, Queen Consort Camilla will be crowned not with the Kohinoor diamond, a win for Indian diplomacy, but with the Cullinan diamonds. However, Cullinan diamonds are also the collateral of British imperialism from Africa. Is it then just a swap of a gesture given current geopolitics of which former colony to appease? Buckingham Palace also confirmed that Prince Harry would attend the coronation alone.
I think he is the people's king.
Is it fair that there is so much attention and resource being put into a massive coronation celebration?
There are bigger things happening in Britain right now.
A recent poll, however, says the response may be tepid on London's streets. Just last week, a poll suggested British public support for the monarchy was at a historic low. Days earlier, another said nearly 4 in 10 young adults wanted an elected UK head of state. The wealth of the royal family at a time of cost of living pressures is one factor that seems to sharply divide the British public. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
And moving on, we're getting breaking news from Jantar Mantar from the protests of the country's top wrestlers. Now there are reports of violence at Jantar Mantar where these wrestlers have been staging a protest for close to 10 days now, demanding an arrest of the Wrestling Federation of India chief over sexual harassment allegations. Now we're showing you visuals of some scuffle between the wrestlers and the Delhi police personnel, and the wrestlers are telling us that there was some violence and some of them were beaten up by the officials there at the protest site. Remember, they've been protesting for close to 10 days now, and there is a ruckus that's currently happening there at Jantar Mantar at the protest site where these wrestlers have been staging a protest for the last 10 days. My colleague Tanishq is joining us for more. And Tanishq, what are you hearing from the protesters there? What really happened? Which were the officials who took this action and why?
Priyanshi, more details are to be awaited. I am right now going towards Jantar Mantar, and we'll get a clear picture once we speak to the wrestlers over there. But right now there are reports of scuffle between the police and the wrestlers. The wrestlers have sent out some audio messages saying that there is ruckus over here and they are being beaten up. It's late night at around between 10 to 11 p.m. But all the facts with proper information will be presented on the channel once I reach there in a short time from now. Let me just remind you that tomorrow is the Supreme Court hearing, and this is happening just before the Supreme Court hearing at Jantar Mantar. The wrestlers have been protesting for 11 days now. Today was the 11th day of the protest, and tomorrow is the hearing in the Supreme Court. So yes, there have been reports of scuffle between the police and the wrestlers, but all the confirmation will be provided soon in a short time from now.
Right, Tanish, definitely the information that we have currently is limited, but what are you hearing from the wrestlers? There are also reports saying that the police personnel who took this action, who beat up some of them reportedly, were drunk?
Yes, reportedly there are some videos being circulated, but we cannot verify the videos as of now. But in the videos, it is shown that it is an action by some drunk men over there. But all facts will be clear and presented once we reach there. Let me just remind you that there have been reports, but the verification of the videos and everything will be provided soon on NDTV. It's 11 in the night, and the wrestlers have been protesting for 11 days from now on. The Supreme Court hearing is tomorrow. And this is happening just before the Supreme Court hearing.
Right. Tanish, thanks for joining us. And our colleague Vimal Mohan is also reporting that he's also spoken to the wrestlers there. And the wrestlers are saying that several of them have been beaten up by these cops. Some of them have been beaten up in their head. They've been hit in their head. The police personnel, the cops, there are still, the scuffle between the wrestlers and the cops is still going on. These are visuals that we're showing you from Jantar Mantar. And our colleague Vimal is also reporting that the wrestlers are saying that the cops who hit them, who have beaten them up, those cops were intoxicated. Some of them were drunk, according to the wrestlers. And the wrestlers say that these cops also abused the women wrestlers who are protesting there at Jantar Mantar. So this is really shocking that there's been violence reported at this protest that has been peaceful for the last 11 days. As Tanish was saying, the protest has been going on for the last 11 days. So till now, the protest was peaceful. But now we are seeing there, you can see Bajrang Punia there as well. Let's just listen in to what they're saying.
मारपीट हुई है आपके साथ? हम बैग लेके आए थे क्योंकि आज से पहले हम भी नहीं लेके आए थे, बारिश की वजह से सोने में दिक्कत थी, इसलिए बैग लेके आए थे। कितने खिलाड़ी हुआ क्या बजरंग जी, हम आपके साथ हैं, बजरंग जी हम आपके साथ हैं, हमें भी पता चला। ये बेटियों की रिश्ता, इन लड़कियों को ये दारू और भी ज्यादा मैं नहीं बोल रही। सच्ची हुआ क्या? सर फोड़ा गया है मेरे भाई का। क्या नाम है? दुष्यंत फोगट नाम है उनका सर फोड़ा गया है इन्होंने, जो भी रखे इन्होंने। दिल्ली पुलिस के जवान है, दिल्ली पुलिस के जवान है। हमें नहीं पता ये कौन है कौन नहीं, हम नहीं जानते। इन्होंने फोड़ा है अंदर, वो कॉलेज में गए थे इन्होंने, तो ये जो बैठे जो भी है ये नीचे भी जो नीचे नीचे नीचे। अरे इसकी भाई सारी गलती इस आदमी की है, इसने करा भाई, इसने करा है।
So as you heard, one of the top wrestlers of the country, Bajrang Punia, also saying there that there's been scuffle between the Delhi police and the wrestlers who've been protesting there. One of the wrestlers also say that some wrestlers there have been hit in their head. But interestingly, one wrestler points out that they're not clear whether the people who hit the wrestlers there, the people who beat up the wrestlers, whether they are Delhi police personnel. So it is still unclear, according to some wrestlers, whether these are the Delhi police personnel. But Bajrang Punia, as you could hear what he just said, that these were Delhi police personnel and some of them were drunk and they abused the women wrestlers who were protesting there, and they also hit several wrestlers in their head. My colleague Tanishk now joining us for more. And Tanishk, is there some clarity on who were these people who allegedly beat up the wrestlers? We heard Bajrang Punia saying that the scuffle was between the Delhi police and the wrestlers, but another wrestler there said that they're still not clear whether the people who beat them up were Delhi police cops or there were some other people. So is there some clarity on that front yet?
Priyanshi, I can just tell from the videos that are emerging right now that the wrestlers are alleging that it is the Delhi police. They are also pointing towards one personnel of the Delhi police who is saying one of the wrestlers, one of the person who is in support of the wrestler, saying that this person is drunk and he did all the ruckus. We can see that in one video, but again, no verification of the video can be made as of now. The Delhi, allegedly right now the scuffle is between the Delhi police and the wrestlers. Let me remind you also that the wrestlers have been disgruntled with the Delhi police since the very beginning. They have said that their electricity supply and the water supply was cut off on the very first day. We heard on the very second day we heard from Vinesh Phogat that they were not allowed to bring food inside. The Vinesh Phogat quote, I'll just quote with Vinesh Phogat instead. Vinesh Phogat exactly said that she was not allowed to bring her medicines inside. So yes, there were some tension between both the wrestlers and the Delhi police. But right now, as of the reports that are emerging, it is being said that it is the scuffle is between the Delhi police and the wrestlers. Now, we don't know who started the scuffle, what led to the scuffle. We will get to know once we get more clarity, once we reach there, and we'll get more clarity very soon.
Thanks very much for joining us. So as we raise several questions here, let's just wrap for you what all we know about this as of now. Some wrestlers saying that there was a scuffle between the Delhi police and the several protesters who are protesting there at Jantar Mantar for the last 11 days. The cause of the scuffle still not known. Some wrestlers are also saying that they're not sure whether the people who hit them are cops or whether those are some other people. So that is a question that we will get more clarity on in the time to come, whether there was a scuffle between the Delhi police personnel, the cops from the Delhi police and the wrestlers, or whether there was some external elements, some external parties involved there as well. We will wait to see, to get more information on that front. The other thing we know is what the wrestlers are saying. They say that the people who hit them were actually intoxicated. Some of them were drunk. So as you heard Bajrang Punia also saying that the Delhi police cops who hit them, some of them hit them in the head, they were drunk. So that's what the wrestlers are saying till now. That's what we know about the situation as the protests are continuing for the 11th day. And this has been the first time that there's been any scuffle, any violence reported at the protest site. Let's listen in to what the wrestlers' version of this violence is. Take a look at what Bajrang Punia says.
क्या कुछ हुआ है?
ये यहाँ पे आप देख लीजिए, हम बैठ लेके आ रहे थे अंदर, बैठ ले आने के लिए सब जबरदस्ती धक्का मार रहे हैं, गाली दे रहे हैं सभी को। दिल्ली पुलिस के एक धर्मेंद्र क्या नाम है,
मारपीट हुई है आपके साथ?
हम बैठ लेके आ रहे थे, क्योंकि आज से पहले हम भी नहीं लेके आए थे, बारिश की वजह से सोने में दिक्कत थी, इसलिए बैठ लेके आ रहे थे। सभी जितने भी आ रहे 40-50 खिलाड़ी हैं, सिर्फ बैट लेके आ रहे थे। ये साक्षी देखिए, ये रो रही है, ये बेटियों की रिश्ता, इन लड़कियों को ये दारू
और किसी से पूछ लो, मैं नहीं बोल पाऊंगी।
साक्षी हुआ क्या?
सर फोड़ा गया है मेरे भाई का। क्या नाम है? दुष्यंत फोगाट नाम है उनका सर फोड़ा गया इन्होंने, जो पी रखे इन्होंने।
दिल्ली पुलिस के साथ है, आप
दिल्ली पुलिस के जवान हैं। हमें नहीं पता ये कौन है कौन नहीं, हमें नहीं जानते। इन्होंने फोड़ा है अंदर, वो टॉयलेट में गए थे इन्होंने, तो ये जो बैठे जो भी है ये।
So let's just tell you what are the allegations being made by the top wrestlers of the country. They are saying that several Delhi police personnel, the cops from the Delhi police, have beaten several of the protesters, several of the wrestlers who are staging a protest there at Jantar Mantar. Number two, they also say that the cops there have abused the women wrestlers who are protesting there at Jantar Mantar. Thirdly, they say that the cops who have hit them, the cops who have attacked them, they are the wrestlers say that these cops were drunk, they were intoxicated. So these are the three allegations that are being made by the wrestlers as of now. But one important point to look out for here will be whether the people who allegedly hit the wrestlers protesting there, whether they are from the Delhi police or whether there are some external elements. Because one wrestler, as you heard, she said there that they are still not sure whether these are cops or whether these are some other people who have hit them. But the allegations are serious. They say that several protesters there, several wrestlers who are there at Jantar Mantar, they've been hit in their head and they've had serious injuries, is what the wrestlers are saying. So this is also extremely significant and concerning, because this is the first time that there's been any scuffle, any violence reported at the protest by the top wrestlers of the country. This protest against the Wrestling Federation of India chief Brijbhushan Sharan Singh has been going on for 11 days. These wrestlers are demanding his arrest over allegations of sexual assault.